Hey there, this is Akshay Madan and welcome back to a new video. And in this video, we are going to solve SQL 50 from Leetcode. So I already have a video on SQL questions where we solved around 70 questions, easy, medium and hard. But most of you already solved it and you are asking about more advanced problems. So I thought that, hey, Leetcode is the best place to solve whether it is DSA problems or SQL problems. So let's take this SQL 50 sheet from Leetcode and let's just crack it. So in this video, I'll be solving the first 20 questions from that sheet, and the upcoming videos, if the response is good, I'll be uploading the rest 30 questions solutions also. So before we get started, check out the Discord server that I have built for you guys where you can ask questions, doubts, share resources, share opportunities, have some fun and make new friends. So check out this Discord server that I've built. The link is in the description. And if you guys are new to SQL, if you are beginners, if you're still in college and if you're looking for just learning the concepts of SQL, then before watching this video, I'll highly recommend you to check out this course, this guided course on educative.io. Here you won't find video tutorials because they're already there on YouTube and you can watch it. But sometimes you're looking for guided tutorials in an article format, the blogs format. So here you can find it. So this complete guided course, which is around 13 hours of content. So this starts with a basic introduction of SQL, the relational versus non-relational, history behind SQL, then some basic SQL queries like creating a table, getting some data, inserting new data, like operator, order by, limit. Then we get the information on the joins, like types of joins, inner join, left join, right join, unions, then nested queries. Then we have got multi-table operations, views, some procedures. So everything that I'm going to cover in this video by solving questions, all of that theoretical part, the content part, you can find in this guide. So do check out this educative. So just for your information, this is not a free course that you're seeing on my screen. This is a paid course. So you will definitely find some premium content over here. And now let's get started with the SQL questions. Okay, so let's get started with the first question, which is recyclable and low fat products. So we are given a products table, which looks like this. It has 3 columns: product ID, low fats, and recyclable. Product ID is the primary key. That means it will be unique. Low fats shows that it is an enum, so that means it will only have 2 values, y and n. Y means the product is low fat, n means the product is not low fat. Recyclable, y, again y and n. Y means the product is recyclable, n means the product is not recyclable. And what is the ask here? Write a solution to find the IDs of the products that are both low fat and recyclable. So this shows that I need to use and where, right? So first of all, I'll pick the table. So from products, right? From products, which all rows? Where my low fats is equal to true. That means y, because it's a string column, and I'll use single quotes here. And another condition that we're given is recyclable, yes, is equal to again y. Okay. And from this, as you can see in the output, we just need to show the product ID. So I'll say select product ID. This should solve it. And it works. Good. So that is question number 1. So this is the question number 2, and we are given a table customer with 3 columns: ID, name, and referee ID. ID is the primary key, which is an integer, and it will be unique. Then we are given the name of the customer and the referee ID. Referee ID means the person who referred this customer. So we need to find out those rows where the customer was not referred by ID 2. That means if referee ID is not equal to 2, those rows. And one more thing you need to think is this referee ID can be null also. So if referee ID is null or referee ID is not equal to 2, that means we have to output those rows. Okay. So from customer, where referee ID is not equal to 2, and yes, because it's an integer, so we can directly write 2 is not equal to 2, or referee ID is null. Okay, and we need to output the name. So select name. Let's try to run it, and it works. Let's submit it, and this works. Let's go to the next question. Next question is big countries. We are given a table, world. Name is the primary key, so this name will be unique, and it's a string column. For this table, each row of this table gives information about the name of a country, the continent to which it belongs, its area, the population, and its GDP. A country is big if it has an area of at least 3 million square kilometers, or it has a population of at least 25 million, or you can see or is there. Write a solution to find the name, population, and area of the big countries. So we just need to use where and or clauses. So I'll say from countries, from world, world is a table name, where the area, so area is area of at least 3 million means greater than equal to 3 million. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or population of at least 25 million. So greater than equal to 25, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we need to output select name, continent, area, name, population, and area. So name, population, and area from world. Yes, so this is good. Let's run it. Yes, this works. Let's submit it. Perfect. Let's go to the next question. So this is the next question. Article views 1. We are given a table called views. In this we have the article ID of an article. Then we have the author ID, viewer ID, and view date. So there is no primary key for this table. The table may have duplicate rows. Each row of this table indicates that some viewer viewed an article written by some author on some date. Note that equal author ID and viewer ID indicate the same person. Write a solution to find all the authors that viewed at least one of their own articles. That means if this is the table, and in this table if author ID is equal to viewer ID, that will go to the output. Okay, so that is something we need to find out, and we have to order the table also in the output. So we will use order by clause. So over here I can say from what is the table name, views. From views we have to find out where my author ID is equal to my viewer ID, okay, and we need to order by ID, article ID, or what, return the result sorted by the ID in the ascending order, find authors. So we need to order by author ID, and this thing, because the table does not have a primary key, and these can be like same also, so that's why I'll use distinct, so that I get only the distinct author IDs. Okay, distinct author ID, and you can see the output column is ID, so I'll say author ID as ID, and this should work. Let's see. Yes, this works. Let's submit it. And this works. Amazing. Let's go to the next question. So this is the next question. Invalid tweets. We are given a table, tweets, which has tweet ID and the content. Tweet ID is the primary key for this table. Content consists of alphanumeric characters like exclamation or space, and no other special characters. This table contains all the tweets in a social media app. Write a solution to find the IDs of the invalid tweets. The tweet is invalid if the number of characters used in the content of the tweet is strictly greater than 15. Return the result in any order. The result format is in the following example. We are given this table with tweet ID and content, and 2. The tweet ID 2 is invalid. Why? Because it has more than 15 characters, right? And if the special character, if any special character exists apart from like exclamation or this thing, that is not the case, because it is given that content consists of alphanumeric characters, only exclamation and space. That means we don't have to worry about if there is an invalid alphanumeric character, because that won't be there. Okay, so we only need to check the length of the content. So from tweets, yes, where we have to use length. So where length of content is strictly greater than 15, so is greater than 15, and I'll select the tweet ID. I think this should be enough. Let's see. Yeah, this works. This was like super simple. So we only had to use this length. Apart from that, no rocket science in this question. So this is the next question. Replace employee ID with a unique identifier. We are given a table employees with ID and name. ID is the primary key and name is a string column. Each row of this table contains the ID and name of an employee in the company. Okay, we are given another table with ID and unique ID, where both the combination of the columns with the unique values for this table are the primary key. Now what we need to do is, we need to find out, we need to create a final output table which has the IDs of all the employees from this table and the corresponding unique IDs. And if there is no unique ID for a particular employee, we will set it to null. So we can say that all the values in this table should be there. So I can call it as left table and this will be my right table. And you know that we have to join these two tables, and we'll use a left join because all the values from the left table must be there in the output. So I'll say from my employees table, let's call it as E, left join employees uni, employee uni as, let's call it as EU, left join, yes, on E dot ID is equal to EU dot ID, because we are joining on the ID. And we need to select what should be the output, unique ID and name. Yes, unique ID comma name, and this will be unique ID. Okay, so this should be coming from EU dot unique ID and name will be coming from E dot name. Let's run it. So name was in this column, this table, so that's why E dot name, the left table, and unique ID is present in this right table, so EU dot unique ID. That's the logic behind this query. Let's submit it. And this works. Let's go to the next question. So the question is product sales analysis 1. We are given a sales table with sales ID, product ID, year, quantity and price. Sales ID and year is the primary key, combination of columns with unique values. Product ID is a foreign key, so product ID is the foreign key to product table. So we have another table also. Each row of this table shows a sale on the product ID in the certain year. Note that price is per unit. Okay. In the product table, we are given the product ID and the product name, and basically the sale of this product is given in the sales table. That's the data that is provided to us. Product ID is the primary key, column with unique values of this table. Each row of this table indicates a product name for each product. Write a solution to report the product name, year and price for each sale ID in the sales table. Return the resulting table in any order. The result format is in the following example. So we are given the sales table, we are given the product table. We will join these two tables on the product ID, and then we will report the year and the price. I can see, okay, year and the price and the product name. Okay, so basically we'll be joining these two tables on the product ID, and from the the join table we'll pick these three column names. That's it. So let's do this. From sales as S, left join. Why? Because we need all the sales. Left join product as P on S dot product ID is equal to P dot product ID, and from this I'll select product name, which will be coming from P dot product ID, P dot product name, and year and price will be coming from S dot year and S dot price. Let's run it. Yes, this works. I hope you understood what I did. We just had to join these two tables on the product ID, and then we had to pick the right columns. That's it. Let's submit it. And this works. Let's go to the next question. Next question is a customer who visited but did not make any transactions. So we are given a table visits with visit ID and customer ID. So if any customer is visiting, that entry gets added to the visits table. Then we have transactions table with amount, visit ID and transaction ID. And basically write a solution to find the IDs of the user who visited without making any transactions and the number of times they made these type of visits. Okay, so we need to join them. Then we need to also find out the count for each customer. Okay, this makes sense. Basically we will be joining these two tables on the visit ID. Then we will see like wherever the transaction ID is null, that means there was no transaction, and then we will be counting those rows. Okay, so from we need all the visits. Yes, we need all the visits. So from visits, left join transactions as t on v.visitId is equal to t.visitId. Okay, and where my transaction ID t.transaction ID or I don't think this is needed. So if I just print this much for now, select star, let's see what we get. Okay, so we get a table where I can see some like visit ID, customer ID, transaction ID and visit ID. Okay, so I can see some transaction IDs are null. So if I just say from wherever like where t.transaction ID is null, I need to pick those rows itself. And now if I just say run, and if I see, I get all the rows where the transaction ID is null, that means these customers did not purchase anything. And for this 54, I can see 2 visits, right? And both are null. So if I group by on the customer ID, right? If I group by on the customer ID, group by on c dot customer ID, right? And then if I just say select what I need to output, customer ID and count number of transactions. So customer ID and the count of such rows as count no trans, like this. And I think this should work. We group by the customer and then we pick the customer ID and the count of such customers. Let's see if there is an issue. We'll fix it. There is one issue. c.customer ID. So if I just say customer ID, yes, this works. So in group by you cannot use this reference variable. You have to directly use the final table's column name. So that's a group by on the customer ID, and then I'm picking customer ID and the count. That's it. It was simple. I by mistake I again ran it. I'll just submit it and this should be done. Yes, this works. Let's go to the next question. Okay, so this is the next question, rising temperature. So we are given a table weather, and in this weather table we have 3 columns: ID, record date and temperature. Okay, ID is a column with unique values. There are no different rows with same record date, so record date is also going to be unique. This table contains information about the temperature on a certain day. Write a solution to find all the dates ID with higher temperature compared to the previous dates. Okay, so I'll be having a table and every row will have ID, record date and temperature. and I have to find out all those rows where the temperature of that day is strictly higher than the previous day temperature. That means it cannot be equal, it cannot be lower, right? And we have a very important thing, compared to the previous date, the yesterday, only yesterday. So if some row is missing, let's say 1st of Feb, then 3rd of Feb is given, 2nd of Feb is not given, and let's say 3rd of Feb temperature is higher than the 1st of Feb temperature, then we cannot take that row, because we have to take the rows where the temperature is higher than the yesterday, only yesterday. Okay, so this is a very good question, easy, but I think I also had to look at some references before coming to the final solution. Okay, so how to solve this is, first of all, because I have to keep an eye on the previous day also and the current day also, that's why I'll write nested query. Outer query will have a look or keep an eye on the today's temperature, and inner query will have the eye on the yesterday's temperature, or vice versa, right? So I'll say select id from weather table, so weather, and let's call it as yesterday, so yesterday, right? And then where, then I'll say one more query which will be select, I have to pick the rows. That means I basically have to get true or false, whether this is true or not, because the condition that I'm going to write will look like this. So I'll say select 1 means true, from which is weather again, as today, so this will be today's weather, right? Where yesterday dot temperature is less than today dot temperature. Okay, and yesterday dot record date, I think we can write like this: today dot record date minus yesterday dot record date is equal to 1. Okay, basically I should only be looking at yesterday, not day before yesterday or 2 days before yesterday. Okay, because it can happen, I saw that there are some test cases where some rows are missing, so we cannot consider those dates even if the temperature is higher, right? Now I am basically picking all those rows where this condition is true, so I am picking those rows where exist. So if you will write exist, then only this select 1 will work out, right? Because this is basically checking true or false, whether this row is a possible solution or not. Then select today.id, because I have to pick those IDs where the temperature is higher than the previous day. So today.id, which is actually coming from this table. Okay, so today.id from this is, I think this should be right. Let's run it and see if it works. No, there is one runtime error. Let's see what is the error. Okay, yeah, I think it will not be able to get today like this because it is a nested query. So what I can do is I can say today will be outer queries table, and this will become yesterday. I think this should be good. Let's see if this works. Yes, this works. So basically the mistake that I was doing was I was trying to access the table which this outer query did not have access to, right? Inner query has access to the outer queries table, but outer queries table does not have access to the inner queries table, right? So that was a silly mistake. Let's submit it and this should work. Yes, it works. Let's go to the next question. So the question is average time of process per machine. So we are given a table activity. Every activity has a machine ID, the process ID, the activity type, which is an enum, and timestamp. So the table shows the user activities for a factory website. Machine ID, process ID, activity type is the primary key, combination of columns with unique values. Okay, machine ID of the machine, process ID is the ID of the process, for a machine with machine ID. Activity type will be either start or end, because every process that will run on a machine will start and end at a timestamp. So this activity type will either be start or the end, right? And for that start and end we are given the timestamp. And one more condition is given, that start will always be before the end, which is correct, right? Which should always be true. So start will always be before end. Okay. Now there is a factory website that has several machines, each running the same number of processes. Write a solution to find the average time each machine takes to complete a process. That means average we have to find. We have to use AVG, which is a clause in like SQL that we can use over here. Takes to complete a process. The time to complete a process is the end timestamp minus start timestamp. That will be the total time taken to complete the process. Now for all of these calculations, end minus start, end minus start, end minus start, for every process for a machine, we have to find the average. Okay, so this makes sense. The average time is calculated by the total time taken to complete every process on a machine divided by the number of processes that were run. So we will find average by taking the sum of end minus starts divided by the total number of processes for that machine. The normal formula of finding the average. The resulting table should have the machine ID along with the average time of the processing time. Okay, so this is a table that is given to us. Machine ID, process ID, activity type and timestamp. You can see start end is given. The timestamps are given. So to find the time for this process ID 0 on machine 0, we have to just do 1.520 minus 0.712. That will give the average, that will give the time taken to complete this process on this machine. Like this, we have to find all the like times taken for completing a process on some machines, and then we have to find the averages for those machines. Okay, so basically again we have to keep an eye on two rows together. So like start and end like this. So what I'll do is select, and whatever we are going to do, like math stuff, we are going to do later, because till now we don't have the variables. What I'll say is I'll pick two tables. Tables are same, activity is same, but I'm picking it twice. From activity as A1 and activity as A2. Okay. From activity as A1, activity as A2, where A1, okay, A1 dot activity type is equal to start, and A2 dot activity type is end. Okay, and the process ID should be same. So A1 dot process ID should be equal to A2 dot process ID, and machine should also be same, and A1 dot machine ID is equal to A2 dot machine ID. Okay, so now I'm sure that it is picking end and start. A2 will be end and A1 will be start. Okay, now I can group them by machine ID. Okay, group by machine ID. Now I need to find, I need to output the machine ID and the average of the processing time. So we have picked the machine ID. Let's pick machine ID from A1 dot machine ID. So average will be found for the values of A2 dot processing time, A2 dot timestamp minus A1 dot timestamp, right? And we have to restrict them on on decimal values. So I will use 2, 3 decimal places, and we have to name it as processing time, which is the column name. I think this should work. I think we are good to go. This can work. Let's run it. Okay, so this works. So basically, whenever you are saying that you have to pick 2 rows at a time, you can either write nested queries like outer query and inner query, or you can also pick 2 tables at a time. So this is the next question, employee bonus. We are given a table employee with employee ID, name, supervisor and salary. Employee ID is the primary key because it has all unique values. Then we are given the name, supervisor and salary of a particular employee. We are also given another table bonus. Employee ID is the foreign key and bonus is the integer. Some employees may not get the bonus, so those employees will not be present in this table. We have to find a solution to report name and bonus amount for each employee with a bonus less than 1000. So some employees will not get a bonus, that means their bonus value will be null. Some will get bonus less than 1000, some will get equal to 1000 and some will get more than 1000. We are interested in less than 1000 and this should be our output. And because we know employee ID is there in both and employee ID is foreign key for my employee table, I can join these 2 tables and then find the bonus values. So I'll say from employee table as E left join. Why? Because I need to get all the employees from the employee table. But if some bonus is not there for an employee, then I can skip the right table entries. So that's why left join, because left table is employee table. Left join bonus as B on E dot employee ID is equal to B dot employee ID, where my B dot bonus is less than 1000 and one more condition, and B dot bonus is not equal to null because some employees might not have got, so their entries will not be there in the bonus table, is not null. And select employee's name, so E dot name, and that employee's bonus, so B dot bonus. Let's run it. So this was an easy question. I think this will be okay. So there is some mistake. What is wrong in this? We expected was okay. We can return null values. So I think this will not come. I was doing over engineering here, but we can return null values. Great. Then I think okay, again wrong answer. Dan is 500. Okay, I have to explicitly mention or B dot bonus is null. Now it will work, because if I was doing less than 1000, it was not considering the null values. I have to mention either less than 1000 or null bonus. Now let's submit it and it works. So this is the next question, students and examinations. We are given a table students, and in this student table we are given the student ID and the student name. Okay, we are given another table subjects with subject name, that's it, and we are given another table examinations with student ID and subject name. Okay, and what we need to do is write a solution to find the number of times each student attended each exam. Okay, so you can read like each student attended each exam. So this means that we need to find all possible combinations, and then we need to see whether the student gave that exam or not. Okay, so we are given 3 tables. In students table you can see we are given student ID, and in examinations table you can see we are given student ID. So we can join these 2 tables, students and examinations, on student ID, and we can join subjects and examinations table on subject name. So you can see subject name is given, which is obviously a unique value. Okay, great. So now to find out all possible combinations, you use a join called cross join. So we will be cross joining students and subjects so that we get all possible combinations for students and subjects, right? Because we need to figure out whether this student gave this subject exam or not, this subject exam or not, right? So we will find all the possible combinations, and we will join examinations table on certain conditions. So I'll start writing it down so that you don't get confused. So I'll join students table, students as S, cross join with subjects as SU, and then with examinations. So all the possible values we have taken from here, right? Now I can do left join examinations as E on S, that is students dot student ID, is equal to E, that is exam dot student ID, and SU, that is subject dot subject name, is equal to E dot subject name. Okay, now here I get my joined table. So if I just say select star from, and if I just run it, this is the output that I'm getting right now. So I can see student ID, student name, student ID, and subject name. Okay, got it. Now I can see Alice, which is student ID 1, programming, and she has given programming examination. Okay, Alice physics examination, Alice physics. So this is a like a duplicate row, right? Then for Alice we have maths, and she gave maths exam. Then again these are like some duplicate rows. Okay, that makes sense, right? And how many times she gave these exams? So these are not duplicate values, because if you will see in the output, what we need to do is write a solution to find the number of times each student attended each exam. So for Alice, if you see, physics should be 2, right? For Alice, physics should be 2. That is right. Math should be 1, 2, and 3. Math should be 3, right? So all we need to do is we need to now group this table on student ID, student name, and subject name, and then find the count for the attended examinations. Okay. So, and yes, we need to return the table ordered by. So we need to order also this table on student ID, subject name. Okay, so I'll first of all group this table by student ID, then student name, and then the subject name, and then I'll order this table by student ID, and subject name. Okay, now I need to pick the values which I need to show in my output table, which is the student ID. So select s dot student ID, and yes, over here also it should be s dot student ID. Student name is in the first table itself, so s dot student name, and subject name should be from examinations we can pick up. So e dot subject name, s dot student ID, and e dot subject name. Student ID I have shown in my output, so that is right. And then the student name, so s dot student name, and then I have to find the subject name, so su dot subject name, and then I have to find the attended exams. So count of the exams I have to find out. So for finding the count, I can just see over here the count of the student ID for that exam. So you can see in examination also we have student ID, right? So if I just find the count of these student IDs, my work will be done. So count of e dot student ID as attended exams, and if I just run it, what do I get? No, there is a wrong answer. Let's see. Are we not Alice, math, physics, programming, Bob, math, physics, programming, math, programming. Okay. So do we need to order them on subject name? Order them on the student name, John, Alex, Alice, Bob, Alex, Alice, Bob, Alex John. Okay, but Alex there are like 3, and in my output Alex is only 1. Okay, so am I not s dot student name e dot subject name? This should be su dot subject name and order by su dot subject name. If I just run it now, and this works. So I was just grouping it on the wrong value. I was grouping it on the examination subject name, but I need to group it on the subject name and order it also on the subject name. So that's why I was not getting some rows for some students. And this works now. So let's just submit it, and this works. Perfect. So it was quite tricky. I won't consider this question as an easy question. It was a medium level question, I would say. But yeah, we have done it now. So this is the next question, managers with at least 5 direct reports. So I'm given a table employee, and in this table I'm given the ID of the employee, name of the employee, department of the employee, and the manager ID. That means the manager who gives directions to this employee. So the ID of that manager. ID, you have to know that manager is also an employee. So manager ID will also be present in this table as an ID, right? So ID is the primary key for this table. Each row of this table indicates the name of an employee, the department, and the ID of their manager. If manager ID is null, then the employee does not have a manager. No employee will have the manager of themselves. Okay. Write a solution to find managers with at least 5 direct reports. Return the result in any order. So basically we are given this table. So this John is an employee with ID 101, department A, and manager ID null. That means John does not have a manager. Okay. Dan with department A has a manager 101. So that means John is the manager of Dan. John is the manager of James. John is the manager of Amy. John is the manager of Annie. And John is the manager of Ron. So John is the person, John is the employee or the manager who has 5 direct reports. Okay, so John is the answer. So basically you have to find out those managers, right, or those employees who are present 5 times in this manager ID column, or more than 5 times. Okay, and their ID should also be present in the table as an ID. That means they should be an employee also. Okay, so I will pick this table twice. Okay, so I'll pick this table twice. Why? I'll show you. Employee as A1. Okay, join this table on the same table. Okay, employee and A2. Okay, A1 will be my employee and A2 will be my manager. I'll show you how. Join this table like this. On A1 dot ID is equal to A2 dot manager ID. Manager ID. Now if I just return this, okay, and if I see what I get, so I'm getting this table. Now this table is joined on itself, where my A1 is equal to A2. So that means all the rows were 101, because this is the only case, right, where my ID is matching with the manager ID. So you can see I'm getting a table with only 101 as the IDs, not any other employee. John, department A, manager ID. John does not have a manager, so this ID. Now over here I'm getting all of his juniors, right? Dan, James, Amy, Annie, and Ron. And then I'm getting the departments and their manager IDs. Okay, that is fine. Now what I need to do is, I need to group this thing on A2.manager ID, on this manager ID. Okay, so that this whole thing becomes 1, and then I'll find the count and check if it is greater than 5. So A2.manager ID having the count of this thing greater than equal to 5, greater than equal to 5. Okay, now from this I can pick A2.manager name. Okay, A2.name. Okay. So using group by clause and having clause, I found out all those people where it is more than 5. It could be 4 also, right? Luckily, here we are having 5, so that's why John is the answer. But let's say it was just 4 or 3 or just 1. Then we could not take John. But because this is 5 as given in the question, we can take John. So that's why this having clause is important. And I'm just returning the name of that manager. Let's see if we get it right. No, we got it wrong. We are getting Dan. Okay. A2.name. This should be A1.name, because now our table, let's see. Yeah, this works. If I just not write this over here for now, and if I just return star, so that I just see like why I had to write A1. So this is my A1 and this is my A2. Oh, okay. Yes. I'll write A1, right? Because here is my John now. So I'll say A1.name and I'll open up these two. And if I just submit it, I should get it right. Yes, it works. Perfect. So the thing that you had to know in this question was that you can join a table on itself, right? And then you can use having clause also for a condition. Okay. So yeah, we solved it. So this is the next question. We are given a table signups with user ID and the timestamp. User ID is the column of unique values for this table. Okay. And each row contains information about the sign up time for the user with the user ID. Okay. So at this time, the user came and tried to sign up. Okay. Confirmations. User ID and timestamp is the primary key combination. Okay. User ID is a foreign key. Okay. So user ID is a foreign key. That means we will use this user ID to join these two tables. To sign up table, action enum. So action is an enum which can have two values, confirmed and timeout. Each row of this table indicates that the user with the ID requested a confirmation message at timestamp. So confirmation rate we have to find out. Confirmation rate is nothing but the number of confirmed messages divided by the total number of requested confirmation messages for that user. Okay. So if this is a table that is given to us, and this is the user table, this is the signups table, and this is the confirmation table. So user number 3 came and tried to sign up twice, and both the times he tried to sign up, the confirmation message got timed out and he could not sign up. So his confirmation rate will be 0 because there is no confirmed message for him. For 7, all of his 3 messages were confirmed, so his confirmation rate will be 1. For 2, I can see he tried to sign up twice, and one time his message got timeout and another time his message was confirmed, so his confirmation rate will be 0.5, that is 50%. Okay, and this is our output. Perfect. And 6 did not try to sign up at all, so his confirmation rate will be 0. Okay, so first of all, I have to join these two tables. I need to pick all of my signups. That means I have to pick all of my users. So I'll say signups as S on like left join, because I need to pick all the signups. Confirmations as C on S dot user ID is equal to C dot user ID. Okay, now both the tables are joined, and now what I need to do is I need to group this table on user ID. Okay, I need to group this table on user ID. So group by S dot user ID. Okay, and yes, we need to order this output also, but we can do that later. But first of all, let's try to write the columns that we need to find out. So first column is the user ID, so that is simple. I'll say select S dot user ID. That's my first column. My second column is the confirmation rate. So I need to pick all the cases when my action is confirmed, right? So sum of all the cases. So case when my action, my S dot my C dot action is equal to confirm, then 1, else 0, end. So this is how you write if else in SQL. So if my case is confirmed, then take 1, otherwise take 0, and find the sum of all such cases. So that if 3 are the confirmed, then this sum will become 3. Divide this thing by the total number of actions, so total rows, so count of star. So this gives me the ratio, the value, and then I need to round this thing by like up to 2 decimal places. So round this to 2 decimal places, and then the column name will be confirmation rate, and then I'll order my table by this confirmation rate, and this should work. Let's run it. Okay, there is some problem. Unknown column s dot action. Oh, this will be C dot action. Now let's run it, and it works. Let's submit it. Perfect. This works. Great. So this is the next question. Not boring movies. We are given a table cinema, which has like ID as a primary key. Each row contains information about the name of a movie, its genre, and its rating. Rating is a 2 decimal places float in the range of 0 to 10. Write a solution to report the movies with odd numbered IDs, okay, and description that is not boring, okay. And we have to order the results by decreasing order, by rating, okay. So let's write it down. It's an easy question. So first of all, it should be an odd ID, okay. So from cinema, where ID mod 2 is not equal to 0, that makes the ID as odd, and then description and description is not boring, so is not equal to boring, and select, and this will become also order by rating, and we need to output star. Let's see if we get it right. Okay, no, this is wrong. We have got this output, war and house card, okay, yeah. DESC makes it descending order. Run, and let's see. Yes, it works. Submitted, and it works. Perfect. Let's go to the next question. So this is the next question, average selling price. We are given a table prices with product ID, start date, end date, and the price for that product in that date range. So we are given start date to end date. Between these dates, the price of the product remains this price, okay. So product ID, start date, end date is the primary key. Combination of the columns are unique values for this table. Each row of this table indicates the price of the product ID in the period from start date to end date. For each product ID, there will be no 2 overlapping periods. That means there will be no 2 intersecting periods for the same product ID. Okay. And we are given another table, units sold, which shows the number of units sold for that product on that date. So from this date, if we figure out that if this date lies between this start date and end date, then this was the price for which that product was sold for, right? Okay. Write a solution to find the average selling price for each product. Average price should be rounded to 2 decimal places. If the product does not have any units sold, its average selling price is assumed to be 0. Okay. So we are given these 2 tables, prices table, units sold, and this is the output. So I can see that I can join these 2 tables on the product ID, and then I can multiply the units with the price for that date, so that I get the total revenue for that product at that price, right? And then I can divide it by the unit sold to get the average price, right? So this is how you find the average. So that's what I'll be doing. So first of all, let's try to merge or join these 2 tables. So I'll say prices as P, left join, because I need to take all the products, left join unit sold as U on P dot product ID is equal to U dot product ID. Okay, great. Now I have joined these two tables. So let's see the join table first. So if I just say select star from, and if I run this, I'll get the join table, right? Okay, so this is the join table. Now for every product ID, you can see I'm getting 4 values. And from these values, you can, because it just joined it, right? It just joined it, took all the values and just joined this table. So because of which, what is happening, you can see this purchase date is of 1st of March, and this is not lying between this range of 17 Feb to 28 Feb. So that means there are some values which can be removed for like the values where the purchase date is not between start date and end date. I'm only interested in the values where the purchase date is lying between the start date and end date, because for those only I'll multiply price with the units. So I can just write a condition over here where my u dot purchase date between p dot start date and p dot end date. Okay, now if I just run it, okay, now you can see I'm getting the correct values. So for product ID 1, purchase date was 25 Feb, which is lying between this range. 100 units were sold at this price 5. For the same product on 1st of March, which is lying in this range, this was the price, and we were able to sell only 15 units. Why? Because the price increased, so units sold decreased. Okay, now I need to multiply. First of all, yes, I'll be grouping this whole table by product ID, because in the output I only have to return one product ID, the unique product IDs, and then the average price. So basically what I'll be doing, I'll be grouping them on product ID, and then I'll be multiplying this price with this units. I'll multiply this price with this units and add them both, and then divide by the total number of units to get the average price. Okay, awesome. Now if I just group by product ID, okay, and now over here I will first of all write down product ID. So p dot product ID. Now to find the first of all I have to multiply this p dot price into u dot units. So I'll say p dot price into u dot units. So this gives me the total revenue, right? Now I will say find the sum of these values, okay, and divide by the sum of u dot units, right? Because now my table is grouped, now I can just say sum of u dot units will give me 115 for product ID 1, and sum of p dot price, that means 100 into 5 plus 20 into 15 will give me the total revenue, divide by the units. And now this whole thing can be null also, right? So I'll say if null, if this whole thing is null, then initialize it with 0, right? Because that is what given in the question, that if this if no units were sold, that means null were sold, then you have to consider it 0. Okay, then I'll finally round this to 2 decimal places, because this is also asked in the question. So I'll say round this whole to 2 decimal places. So round this to 2 decimal places. So I'll use round clause. Okay, and I will name this column as average price. Yes, this works. Let's submit it. No, we again got a wrong answer, and the problem is again the same, that for null unit sold, it is not able to give us the values of 0. It is actually giving us empty. So we are getting a wrong answer, and if my units sold are null, then my output is also like coming with empty rows. But ideally it should come with 0 for product ID 1 and 2. Something is wrong, and I don't think now the brackets are wrong. I think they are correct. So one thing, okay, so one problem over here, p dot product ID, group by on p dot product ID, and then this should not be where, this should be and. because the joining itself should happen on this condition and this condition, right? I think this should solve it. So if I just run it first, okay, and if I submit it, yes, this works. So basically the problem was not in the brackets, we had written it correctly. The problem was in the conditions on which how I was joining my tables and I was doing group by. So yeah, this works. So this is the next question, project employees 1. We're given a table project, right, with project ID and the employee ID. Primary key for this table, employee ID is a foreign key, okay. Each of this table indicates the employee with the employee ID is working on a project with the project ID. And then we are given a table employee with employee ID, name and years of experience that employee has. Okay, write a SQL query that reports the average years of experience for all the employees for each project. Okay, so as you can see, we are given a table project with project ID and the employee ID. So on project ID like 1, 3 employees are working, 1, 2 and 3. So you will find the years of experience that these 3 employees have, and then you will find the average of the years of experience. Similarly, you will do it for 2, and then in the output you are going to get like a table with unique project IDs 1 and 2 and the average years of experience rounded up to 2 decimal places. Great. So I know that I need to join these 2 tables, project and employee. So I'll just do it, and you need to pick the things that are there in both. Basically the values which are there in both the tables. So if some project ID, if some employee ID is there in both the tables, then you need to pick those employees. Now to join these tables, I'll use inner join because I want matching values in both the tables. So I'll write down project as P, inner join employee as E on P dot employee ID is equal to E dot employee ID. Okay, so if I do this and if I say select star from, and if I just run it just to see what I get, so I'm getting project IDs like 111, and then I'm having the employee ID 123, the employee ID 123, and the name of these employees and their years of experience. Okay, now from this table, the join table, I need to find out the average years of experience. Okay, the average years of experience. So for that, you already know that I'll be finding the average of 3, 2 and 1. So I'll be grouping this table by P dot project ID, and then over here you can see the output. I'll return P dot project ID, comma, average years of experience. So average years of experience I will find out by using AVG years of experience, right? So E dot experience years. Okay, so if I do this and if I just run it, what do I get? So I'm getting 2 and 2.5. Okay, the values are correct, and I need to call it as average years of experience, right? The column name average years. Okay, so as average years. So if I run it, yes, and if I submit it, okay, no, it is not working. Let's see what is the issue. Okay, I think we need to round this off to 2 decimal places. Yes, 2 decimal places. If I submit it, and this works. Perfect. So we have got this answer also. Let's go to the next question. So in the next question, what am I given? I'm given a users table Okay. And in the users table, I am given user ID and name of the user. And I have another table register, which shows contest ID and the user ID. So basically the users who have registered for this contest. Okay. Write a solution to find the percentage of the users registered in each contest. Each contest means I need to pick up unique contest IDs rounded to decimal places. So basically percentage of the users. Percentage of the users means the people, the users who have registered in the contest divided by the total number of users that I have got in the users table, right? Return the result table ordered by the percentage in descending order. In each case of a tie, order in the contest ID in ascending order. Okay, that is fine. Ordering we can do later. But first of all, the logic is you need to divide the number of users who are going to a contest. That means the number of users for this contest divided by the total number of users that I have in my users table. Got it. Okay, so first of all, I'll be joining these two tables on user ID. Okay, wait. Do I need to join them? I don't think so. Because at the end, I just need the number of users in this table for this contest ID and the total number of users in this table. So I can directly work with the register table. So from register, from this register table, I can say select distinct user ID, and the count of the unique IDs, okay, divided by select count of all the users from users. So this will give me the count. So I'm dividing the count of the unique users divide by the total users, and this will give me and this will be multiplied by 100, right? And I should get percentage from here, right? From register, group by contest ID, right? Group by contest ID. Yes, group by contest ID. And then ordering I have to do. So where is the ordering thing? Ordered by the percentage in descending order. So DESC. Order by descending order in case it's die. And then ordering by contest ID in the ascending order. Okay, if I just run this, okay, so what is wrong? Let's see. This, okay, I did not write the first column, which should be my contest ID. So contest ID comma this, and this should be rounded off to 2 decimal places. So this will be rounded off to 2 decimal places. Now if I just run it, let's see what I get. Yes, this works. If I submit it, let's see if this works. And it works. Perfect. So we got the answer in the first go. So basically all we had to do is no join, nothing. Just pick the register table, group it by the contest ID, pick the total number of unique users going in that contest, divide by the total number of users in the users table, round it off to 2 decimal places. That will become your percentage. That's it. And then the order first by the percentage and then by the contest ID. Awesome. So this is the next question, queries, quality and percentage. We are given a table queries. In this table we are given query name, which can be varchar, so string it can be, result, again string, position and rating, which are integers. The table may have duplicate rows. The table contains information collected from some queries on a database. So if I just show you the sample input, this is the query name, like dog, cat, and then I can say the result, golden retriever, German shepherd, mule, Shirazi. So these are just the types of cats. Okay, I mean column names are confusing, but that is fine. So we are given some query names and some results, position and their ratings. Okay, got it. We define query quality, which we have to find out. So we have to put another column, that is quality, which is average of the ratio between query rating and its position. So query rating, which is like this column, and the position, ratio between them. So rating by position will be some value, like 5 by 1 will be one value, 5 by 2 will be one value. You have to find out the average for this query name. So 5 by 1 plus 5 by 2 plus 1 by 200, right? You can see over here, divide by the total number of entries, so 3. This becomes your quality column. Okay, so this we have to find out. Next is we also define poor query percentage as the percentage of all the queries with rating less than 3. So over here you can see for dog I have only one rating which is less than 3, so 1 by 3. For cat I have only one rating which is less than 3, so 1 by 3. This is your poor query percentage. So we have to find these two columns for our unique query name, so dog and cat. Okay. First of all, as you can see, I'll be grouping this table on query name. So I'll say from queries, right, group by on query name. Okay, that's your first task, so that you get the table where all the query names are grouped. Now I need to find the quality. So how will you find out the quality? So select, you need to find out the average of the ratios, right? And if you want to like divide it and find the average, which should come in the decimal format, but these are integers, not decimals. So definitely I have to convert them to like the floating values. So we'll do that. But first of all, I will definitely have to find the ratio. So rating by position. So I'll say rating by position, right? So this is my one value. Now if I find the average of this, right, average of this, and if I round this off to 2 decimal places, this should be my quality column, quality. Okay, and if I just try to, and in the output table we also need to return query name, so query name, right? And if I just run it and see what we get, so we are getting 2.5 and 0.66. So this is correct. So we are getting quality perfect, which is like correct, right? So quality is done. Now we need to worry about poor query percentage. How to find this? So again, how to find the percentage? First of all, I need to find out all the cases where my rating is less than 3. So for this one, I'll use case in SQL. So case, I'll write over here. So I'll write down case when, this is like if and else in SQL. Case when rating is less than 3, then 1, else 0. Okay. So if my rating is less than 3, then I will take that value as 1, that is true, and else false. And I'll find the sum of this. Okay, I'll find the sum of, and you will also write end over here. So what I'm doing is I'm just finding the sum of these values. So if this is only 1, like there is only one case, so it will be 1. Now divide by the total number of ratings. So divide by the count of all the values, like all the rows for dog. Now I need to find the percentage, so I'll definitely be multiplying it with 100. Okay, and then round to 2 decimal places. So round to 2 decimal places, and this will be called as poor query percentage. If I just run it, and yes, it works. If I just submit it, and it works. Perfect. So this is done. Now let's move on to the next question. So this is the 20th question. We are given, the question name is monthly transactions 1. So we are given a table transactions and we are not given any other table. That's it. Okay. So in this table, you are given the ID of the transaction, country for that transaction, state approved or declined, amount for that transaction, and the transaction date. Okay. So write a SQL query to find for each month and country the number of transactions and the total amount, the number of approved transaction and the total amount. Any order we can maintain. So you will better understand if you will see the output once. So for this, what they did, they took the month for that country. So December 2018, US had 2 total transaction count. If you will see over here, these are the count for December. Approved counts were 1, only 1 was approved. Transaction total amount was 3000. Why? Because 1000 plus 2000 for US. Approved total amount was 1000 because only 1000 was approved. Similarly for DE, I think DE is Germany. I'm not sure. You can put it in the comment section. So for Germany, let's say DE, but we have one more, US, for another month, that is January 2019, we had this data. And for DE, we have for 1st of 2019, that is January 2019, we have transaction count of only 1, and it was an approved transaction, so approved count 1, total amount 2000 as you can see, and approved total count of 2000. So basically, yes, we will be using grouping, we will be using some mathematical operations, but you have to, we have to go step by step. Okay, so first of all, from my input table, what should I pick up? I will pick my table. Okay, so I'll pick my table from transactions. Okay, I will group this transaction table, group this by month. Okay, because as you can see, it is grouped by month and it is grouped by country. Now what is this month? I'll tell you. This month we have to calculate. Okay, now let's calculate it. So you can see this, that means in the transaction date, the first 7 characters form my first column for my output, right? As you can see, 2018 till 12. So we can say select left transaction date, trans date, comma 7. That means first 7 characters from my trans date column, which is this, will be called as my month column. From here itself, this month is coming up. Okay, so this is my first column of my output and it is done. Okay, next is my country. So let's write down country. Next is the total transaction count. Okay, so I can say count of star is my total transactions count. Okay, and this will be called as trans count. Next is approved count. How many transactions were approved? So sum of I'll write down a case when my state is equal to approved, then 1, else 0. We have already done this in our previous questions. So if my state is approved, then take 1, otherwise take 0, and find the count of such rows, and this will be stored as approved count. Okay, so this is my next column. Then is transaction total count, total amount. So sum of the amount. Okay, sum of the amount will be stored as transaction total amount column. So this is my next column. Then we have the last column, which is approved total amount, So I'll copy the same thing, but over here instead of then 1, I'll return transaction the amount, basically the amount. So because I now I have to add these amounts for all such cases where my state is approved, else 0, and this will be approved total amount, and this should solve my question. That's it. I hope you understood it, right? So if I just run it, okay, so what is wrong over here? Sum of Sum of amount. You have an error. SQL syntax. SQL Server action right syntax. Group by month country at line 8. This should be correct. Okay, the issue is over here. I put an extra comma over here. Let's run it again. And this works. Perfect. Let's submit it. Awesome. We have found the solution. I hope you enjoyed this video. We solved 20 questions, more yet to come, and we will be solving the rest of the 30 questions in the upcoming videos. Do check out Educative, do check out the Discord server that I've built. Till the next video, keep coding, keep innovating, and thanks a lot.